Hey folks, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're having a great day. Let's just see who was first in chat. Let me know if you can hear everything fine. I know we did have a slight problem with the stream right at the beginning. It did go down very briefly. There was a slight Ethernet problem with a little animal that goes woof. Anyway, we're all sorted now. So Vogon was first today. He was really early, 6:39 PM, and I started streaming at just about 8 o'clock, so about 80 minutes early. So Overwatch, you think? Yeah, I think Brian's been playing Overwatch on the Top Clock account. Not sure I like that, but either way, hey. Couch's here as well. It's Pingu tried to be first an hour later, wasn't quite there. Looped Helios is here as well. Pingu says, damn it, you seem to check in an hour before stream tops. Yep, that's it. That's what people do. The earliest I've had is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Derek and Tronics are here as well. Jay's here too. I think he joined right as the stream went down and came back up. Anarchy is here as well. Anarchy, I'm really excited to see you again in just a couple of weeks. The Leeds meetup, the London meetup, the UK meetup in London is not too far away, so I'm really excited to catch up with Anarchy again, and Huey as well if he's going as well. It is Sunday evening indeed. Rope's here as well, saying hello. Unicorn Salami is here too. That's a great username, Unicorn Salami. I really like that. I really like that. I've just realised that because of the dog posting crap, I didn't put my gone live announcements in a couple of channels. I'll just do that really quickly. Done. Okay. Melodet's here as well. Subscribes for 22 months and says, hey all. Hello, welcome to the stream again, Melodet. Good to see you. Derek says, MagSafe Ethernet cable group buy next. Well, yeah, maybe. It's all sorted now. Krasios says, I feel out of breath reading that. Yeah, I just had to type it down quickly and I got it in there, and it is what it is. Vint stabs, what's this? So I have a problem with the current GMK clipping stabs. They're not great. I needed some for this build because the gasket doesn't work on the Jane CE V2 if you don't have the clip-ins. If you have screw-ins, it doesn't work. It catches on them. So I was trying to find some good clip-ins. I couldn't because all the ones I've got that are new are crap. So I found an old cherry board that's had a hammering, and these are taken from an old cherry board. But as you can see, the wires are not in the best of condition. So I am going to swap the wires and then use the well-used plastic parts. That is the plan. Hints is here as well. Penguin Dropping said, I heard you the first time, Jay. Woo! Obi's here as well, checking out the build. Sour is here too. Sour, you might recognise something that I'm actually wearing. How good does this look? How good does this look? Now the chair's stuck on the carpet. Even Yutski's here. Hey Yutski, good to see you, man. Thank you very much for sending me the board. Flexman's here too. Gouty saying, watch Jabling J-Balls. Yeah, good. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Gouty, at the meetup as well. I know you'll be there. Carp is here, man. Been waiting for you all this week. I loved seeing your build pictures. It looked great. I'm really excited to see this board and see how it's going. So yeah, I haven't opened it. The box is still sealed since the day I got it. I haven't even looked at the board yet. So yeah. Yeah. So you realised what shirt I was wearing when you saw the colour, didn't you? Yeah. George is looking forward to the London meet as well. Yes, George, I'd love to see you there as well. I can't wait to catch up with you. Phantom says, JUL, I bought some MX lock switches because you told me that it'd be hilariously bad, but they work exactly as advertised. So the problem I have with them is I use step caps with them, and sometimes on the very rare occasion I catch this side of step caps, if you can see through the chat, they don't lock properly, and I don't think they're particularly great switches, but I'm glad you're enjoying them. I'm really glad you're enjoying them. Vince stabs are good. Cohen Romans uses them on his Unicorn with Everglide wires. So, funnily enough, that is exactly what I'll be doing. These are Everglide wires. I will be swapping the wires out and using those. So that is exactly what I'll be doing. So it says nice. Enigma Studios is here as well. Says sup Jay, sup man, good to see you. Great looking body. Not sure about the shirt. Hey, it's designed by Sour, so you know I'm happy. Pangoin as well, subscribed for 9 months. Thank you very much for subscribing, dude. Thank you very much for that. Tier 1, excellent. Okay, and Glove is here as well, saying good evening, Sir Jay. So Glove is our resident artisan maker here in the UK. I'm excited to see some wrist rests that he's been working on when we get to the meetup in London. Which reminds me, if you are in the UK, do consider coming to the meetup. It's on the 28th of March in London, in the Canary Wharf area, so definitely go and take a look at buying your tickets for that if you're interested. Okay, so we've got a few things I want to do tonight on stream, guys. So first of all, I do have the Jane, which we need to unbox, and then we need to build it. In terms of the build, I'm going to have a look at a few things. First of all, switches. We're going to be going with lubed inks. So these are unused but lubed inks. There's even a stabilizer in the bag there that we won't be using. But these are lubed 205 grade 0, spring swapped to 67 grams, and the springs are lubed with 105. So really excited to get these in the board. Plate. So thank you very much to Yutski for releasing the plate files. I have changed it a little bit, made this one a fixed ISO plate, as you can see. Still made from carbon fibre, all nice and present correct, and should have the wing keyless bottom row. I haven't tested this in the board yet. I'm hoping it fits, I'm hoping it works. If it doesn't, I'll have to use the one that comes with it, but the plan is to use this fixed ISO layout one. In terms of PCB, I do have a couple of things I want to use. So this build I want to use with the gasket, so I might be using the Heinebusch H8810 that you can see just there. If this works with the gasket, I will be using this one. If the gasket needs cutouts in certain places that aren't covered by this PCB, then I'll be using the stock PCB that comes with the board. So we shall see how that goes. But yeah, we'll be doing that. Now this PCB is 1.2mm thick, so it's a little bit more thin, a little bit more flexible than standard, which means we do have to use these for the stabilizers to get them to clip in. So this changes it from a 1.2mm PCB to a 1.5mm PCB, just around those clip-in parts. Okay, so that's the board that we're going to build. As I say, we'll unbox it in a few minutes. The other thing that came in this week was GMK Vaporwave, which, if you guys haven't seen it, is here. Now, again, I haven't unsealed this, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. Cohen Romus, 1,000 bits. Thank you very, very much for that. Thank you, dude. And Arcart with a subscription at tier 1. Thank you, gents. Really, really appreciate those. Is that full caps lock on this board here? No, it's step caps. There you go, step caps. Bug Whisper says, wasn't there an issue with inks fitting in the stock plate? Yes, there was. This isn't the stock plate. It should be okay. They might be tight. Hey, we'll see how we get. On the plate for the Jane, so I believe it's full caps actually. So it looks like it's full caps on this particular one, but we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so anyway, GMK Vaporwave. Let's take a look at this. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of this. I have. The pictures look interesting. I'll say that for nothing. I'm not quite sure. I think I like the pictures. In fact, I do like the pictures, but I'm a little bit concerned that the contrast is going to be strange on the alphas. So we shall see when we open it in a second. But for those of you who haven't seen GMK Vaporwave, this did run around March last year. So I'm really excited to see what it looks like. Gouty, have you plugged the London meetup yet? Yes, I have plugged the London meetup. It's on the 28th of March. Gouty's in attendance. I'll be in attendance. It's in the Canary Wharf-ish area of London, so it's going to be really good. Okay. Well, okay, so that's bright. Goes with the little accent pack as well, and the UK ISO keys. I don't know how well you guys can see the legends from here, but they are super neon bright. There is no issues with their clarity in real life. That's really interesting. So let me just bring one up close for you, if I can get hold of a keycap. So I don't know how well this is going to show, but the legends are super crystal clear. Try and, I don't know, let's use the B key, because why not? I was worried from photographs that you wouldn't be able to read them and that legibility would be a struggle, but that's super crystal clear. Even with the bright colours and the contrast being relatively obscure, they're pretty legible. I mean, they're bright, I'll say that for nothing, they're really bright, but as you can see from the tray, guys, it's pretty damn legible. So there we go. So that is GMK Vaporwave. It looks pretty good. none of the issues with the escape key that we saw on GMK Waves. That's all nice and straight and flush. Don't know if you guys saw that, but GMK Waves did have some issues with the escape keys. Okay, let's see what chat think. Very violet. Luke Healy is going to try and make it as well. Excellent. Time to turn my brightness down, not all the way, says Socialite. Yeah, it is quite bright. This is worse than Handabite, don't at me. Well, I like Handabite as well, so. Does anyone have the link to the meetup? Gouty will put it in the chat, I'm sure. Gouty, get that link to the UK meetup in chat. Looks like GMK Parma Violets. That's exactly what it does do. Yeah, cameras don't do justice. They don't. I mean, I'm hoping it's better on stream, so you guys can see as I move it around. There's no legibility issues. It looks like halos around the alphas because of the contrast. Yeah, you don't get that in real life. That's very much on the camera thing. Hurts my eyes. Can't wait for it to arrive. Nice, nice. Okay, Gouty's going to post that link in a couple of seconds. Why would one set have issues with the escape key? So when they do the double shot molding, they put a shot inside and the outside of the cap goes over the top. Sometimes that gets twisted or maneuvered in a certain way, or it might have come out of the original mold and have some slight issues. When they take them out of the mold, if they haven't cooled down enough, they then shrink and warp and move around a little bit. So when they put it inside the different mold, they can have slight issues. So it can happen. It can happen. So there we go. So Gouty's posted the link to the London meetup. If you are in the UK and you do want to go to the meetup, go check that out. Quirdenker is here as well, saying, "Hey Jane, please don't put this on the Jane." Well, chat can vote on what I put on the Jane, and we'll come to that later on. There is a few sets that I have just to the side of me, and you guys can pick which key set makes it onto the Jane today. There are a few good key sets, so I'll let you guys think. If someone wants to make a straw poll, they can. I'll pop this away now. We've had a look at it. Have we got a volunteer to make a straw poll? Probably not. Cohen sounds like he's the man to do it. Quirdenker's not a fan of this key set either. Chris Bezic is here as well. Hey man, good to see you. I'll do it. What sets? Vaporwave is the first one. The next one is GMK Olive, which I'm going to open and have a look at because I haven't seen this either yet. These came at the same time. So the second one is GMK Olive. The third one is GMK White on Black. And then the fourth one is GMK Retro. So there we go. So we'll see. We'll see. Nines is on another board right now, so it won't be that one. Please put the Vaporwave on the chain. I want to see it on a board. We'll go with whatever comes up in the thing that's I've forgotten the word. The straw poll that UB is creating. So Undercover Brother is creating a straw poll. So let's take a look at Olive. I do have Olivia's other set. Olivia. Oh man, this is super nice. Oh man, oh man, oh man, this is super, super nice. I am a sucker for green key sets, and this one is no exception. How much was this? I don't know. I got this one as extras actually. I'm just going to have to use these. Stupid GMK clips. This one was not in the thing properly. Ripped a hole in it. Okay. So man, this is really nice. This is super duper nice. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's just kind of like a browny greeny grey colour. It's kind of like a really dark olive. It's absolutely lovely. The alphas just have a hint of cream to them. It's not as white as it looks. These have got a slight hint of cream to them. This looks great. I really, really like this key set. Even the novelties. Even the novelties. These are cool. Look at that. Okay, I really like this set. Thank you very much for Mr. Green Seppo subbing, or Mr. Meister Green Seppo subbing for 11 months, saying anniversary soon. Just one more month to go. Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see that. Okay, so Undercover Brother has opened up the straw poll. I shall get that open as well. I'm going to put my vote in. You guys put your vote in as well, and we'll see what that comes out as towards the end of the stream. Did you cop that Rama Enter? I didn't, because I rarely use ANSI on build, so I didn't cop it. Looks like Honeywell. Yes, this is Honeywell on this set. That's GMK Honeywell without any accents. Carbon bone. I do have carbon bone, but it's not on anything. Shichin hates infilling. If you use good quality paints, it's really easy. If you use poor quality paints, it's really bad. Or if you use paints that have got resin in, it's really, really hard to clear up. I know how it's pronounced, Qued. I just like to wind him up. I like to call him Grinseppo because he really hates it, and I like to call it Mister instead of Meister because he really hates that as well. So yeah. Emphasis on the poo. Okay, emphasis on the poo. Mr. Grins poo. Meister Grins poo. There we go. I'm not funny. It's just fun. VPN user voting is not allowed. Well, stop using a VPN then, man. Okay, cool. It's not nice. I apologise. I do apologise. Grins, you know I love you, man. You know. Okay, so that's the key sets. As I said, I do have the other key sets to one hand here. I've got white on black and GMK retro. I've also got unicorn here because I got in the post the other day, and I'm really excited to use it on something. So this is the classic retro set as well, I believe. There you go. Yeah, classic retro. There we go. Nice. Cool. Okay, so that's the options when we get around to the build itself. In terms of keycaps, you guys keep on voting on that, and we'll see where we get to at the end of the stream. We all know it's Petrov's fault. Yeah, go blame Petrov. Okay, so now we've had a look at the key sets. The next thing to take a look at is, well, the keyboard, right? So as I say, this is unsealed. The only thing I've done is take the labels off the top, which had my address on, so you can see it's still all sealed up. I haven't unsealed it. TGR logo on the sides. I've literally just taken off anything that pertains to addresses or anything like that. And this is the box, how it comes. So yeah. What you're drinking? I'm drinking Iron Brew at the minute, just a nice soft drink. I tend to find that I need the sugar during these streams, so yeah, just Iron Brew today. But yeah, this is, was this a secondary market group buy? No, I bought this in the group buy, and it's just arrived today, sorry, this week, arrived on Monday, so nearly a week ago. It came on Monday morning. Please wait 1 minute to open it. I'm not waiting a minute to open it. It's going to take me 5 minutes to unbox it and see what's in the box. You have yet to find some Iron Brew? Well, come to the London meetup and you can try it. How fast was the original group buy? I think it was a few seconds. As Apocalypse says, ah, hell yes, I finished my shower just in time to see the unboxing. Yeah, glad, man. I'm glad. Grin says, sounds like something I would really enjoy. I think you would. I think you would. Okay, so... Try not to put too much of the blade out here so I don't slice into anything. But there we go. What was the group buy price for the Jane? So I checked this before the stream because I needed it for the J score, and I paid $612.24 for the board. That included an extra PCB and both weights, and then I spent $70.36 on the shipping. So that's what I sold, which comes to a total of $683, give or take. $550 for the board on its own, yes, plus then there was the PayPal fee, and then there was the extra PCB that I paid for, and also the shipping as well on top. Just conscious the music's probably a little bit loud today. Let's turn it down. There we go. Import and tax, I had to pay £35 import tax for it. It was marked as $100, so it cost me £35, which I haven't paid yet because the bill only came in this morning, which was, sorry, not this morning, Friday morning. So I'll be paying that on Monday. Okay, so that's the board unboxed. You can see he'd even written my name on it. How kind of him was that? Okay, so James is here as well. Good evening. Opening the box up. First thing I see, gasket. Nice. Pop that to one side. Loose Fluid here as well. Good evening, Mr. Fluid. Those taxes though. Yeah, at least it wasn't on the full amount. I'm really, really glad you didn't buy it. Oh, box is making noise. Okay, so what have we got here? First thing we've got something wrapped up. We'll have a look at that in a second. And then we have the PCB. I'm pretty sure I bought a second PCB, so I can only assume one is underneath. So there we go. We'll have a look at that in a second. Okay. Nice packaging as well. Plenty of good foam. Can't really see much. The other PCB's there though. Here we go. First things first, it's heavy. It's a chunker. That's everything in the box. So there we go. That's the box unboxed. First thing we'll do is have a look at the PCB. I do like a yellow PCB. I think that looks pretty damn smart, even if I do say so. It's pretty good. TGR logo. Looking good. Nice and tasty there. What else have we got? TGR logo on the back as well. If that focuses. Come on, camera. There you go. Version 1.2. Very, very pretty PCB. I like that a lot. So there we go. Underglow pads as well, but obviously they're not in use on this particular board. Nice to see the F13 as well. That's the PCB. I don't know how to get back into the bag now. Cherry yellow PCB. I bet it's a TGR Jane. It is a TGR Jane. Yay! One of the things we'll have to do in a second is just compare the TGR PCB to the Heine PCB and make sure that we can actually use the Heine PCB for this build with the gasket. Just have a look at the gasket. Nice big O-ring gasket. It's quite soft. It's softer than the one in the Unicorn. That's noticeably different. It's much firmer compound in the Unicorn, I think, or it feels it anyway, just from pressing it here. So really interested to see what that's like. So far, even score for white on black and olive. Nice. See, you can use a gasket. You can either do it top mount or using a gasket. Pop the gasket to one side. I'm interested to see what's in here because this is quite heavy. I think this is the secondary weight, so I actually should have both weights, both the coloured one and the black one as well. So let's take a look. This definitely feels like it's the other weight. Very, very well wrapped. Okay, so this looks like it's the coloured weight. Excited to see this. Okay, that looks incredible. So depending on how I angle this, really, really changes the colour of it. Fingerprints are abound. So let me see if I can show you guys how the colour changes. Come on, focus, camera. Camera, focus. There we go. So if I move it, say, you see it goes yellow all the way through pink and then blue. You see the blue on the top there. That's something to behold, is that. That's absolutely stunning. Very, very impressive. Chunky as well. That's a beautiful piece. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. I am blown away by that. I mean, just look at how it changes in colour as I move it. That is something else. How did I manage to get two weights? I asked really, 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 really nicely to Yuski if I could have both, and he said yes. I joined the group buy as everyone else did, filling out the form, and then I messaged him afterwards and asked if I could have both weights. He said yes. I can't remember how much the second weight cost. I would have to go look at my invoice. I can find that out later on if anyone is interested. Without any further ado, let's take a look at the board. And as I say, I haven't opened this as yet. This is being opened as you see it, wrapped in a bag. Interesting. And there she is, folks. So there we go. It's looking pretty good. Looks pretty damn tasty. Just flipping it over, taking a look. There's some dust on it here. There it is with the black weight. It does have the Jane logo as well, just in that corner. It's very difficult to see. Again, looks absolutely stunning. A little bit dusty in places, but it's been in a box for a couple of weeks. Okay, now I've got pop-ups here. Let's see if we can get this to focus, and you can see the Jane. I promise you, there is a Jane logo in there somewhere. There you go. You can just see it in the light there. And then on the base, we've got the carbon fibre sheet. Big sucker for carbon fibre. That looks great. The inlaid weight here as well, and then the TGR and CE logos down here at the bottom as well. Again, excuse fingerprints. It's really cold in the office. Go on, camera, focus. Focus, please. So there we go, guys. That's the board. If you look at it on the edge, again, just a little bit dusty, but it's been in the box for ages. It's a very, very deep black, like crazy, crazy black. It looks absolutely stunning. I am thoroughly, thoroughly impressed with that already. Wow. Just carbon fibre, everything. Absolutely, I love carbon fibre. I'm a huge, huge fan of carbon fibre. So yeah, the USB cut is clean. Yeah, how did you guys see the USB cut? It looks nice. Yeah. Pretty damn good. Anno match is pretty spot on as well. I can't see any difference here in real life. The camera sometimes picks up things that aren't really there, so there we go. It's black anno, yeah, it's just anodization, but it's hecking good anodization. So yeah. Okay, let's crack on with the build. I'm excited to do this. Straw poll, vote for the key set that goes on this board. Yes, go on guys, vote for the key set that I build on this board. Let me have a check and see what it's up to. Olive is currently winning with 11 votes. White and Black has 10 votes. Vaporwave has 8 votes, and Retro has 5 votes. So most people want to see Olive. If you don't want to see Olive on this board, you need to get voting. Classic Retro or Riot. Classic Retro is nice. Okay, so next thing, let's take the board apart and take a look inside. I want to see Olive. I showed it on stream earlier on. If you want to see it right at the end of the stream, I can show you again. Okay, let's find the right size bit that we need for this. I think it's going to be this one. Nope, slightly too small. Slightly too big. I must have the bit that fits this. There we go. Olive is boring. I want to see Vaporwave on a board before mine arrives. Olive is not boring. I was really impressed with that key set. I thought it looked great. I still want a pink and purple cotton candy key set. Hannah is just too muted for me. Maybe you should design one. Have a go. Why not? Is that the fancy Xiaomi toolkit? It is, but a rebranded version of it. This is branded Wukong, but it's identical. NR Bigfoot is here as well. He says, hi Jay. Hey man, good to see you. This board needs perestroika though. Yes, I have it already ordered, Cohen. Don't worry. Weeha is exactly the same as these as well. Gosh, that's tight. Yeah, so Weeha is exactly the same as these. Yeah. The Xiaomi one is collaborated with WeHat, and then this is a rebranded Xiaomi one. Can we have a channel points thing that to LTT drop test whatever board has been built? No, absolutely not. Just ordered a set on Friday, so now a big. Is that Perestroika? I hope it is. Go show your love for Perestroika, folks. Some of these screws are really tight, and some of them aren't. Okay, now they're typing in Russian. I can't even read that. It's too small. It's too small. Okay. Cheeky breaky. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. Feels CSGO. Yeah, maybe. Perfect key set for when you play Dota, CS, yeah. Okay. I'll leave you guys to your memes when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay, I think that's everything that holds the board together. Perhaps it's not. Did I miss a screw? Do I have to take this off as well? Looks like I have to take this off. Can't see why I would have to, but feels like there's something still holding it in. We'll go for it anyway. I need Perestroika for when I play Tarkov and DayZ. Yeah. It's like 27 screws. Yeah, I thought that the CE had fewer than the standard V2. It's alright though. We will get there. It won't take too long. And either way, it's going to be worth it. So. I need my i165, but it's delayed because of coronavirus. Yeah, lots of things are delayed from coronavirus at the moment. It's just a challenge that the community is just going to have to accept, I'm afraid. It's one of those things. The JO2 group buy is going to be slightly delayed by the coronavirus as well, so I feel you on that one. And as well as that, my personal i165 as well is also delayed. So. Okay, now I did take all 6 screws out of that. Is that going to come out? There we go. So just to show you guys this is a nice thick plate of carbon fibre. It looks like 3mm thick. It's nice. It feels solid as hell, does that? Put that to one side. Okay. Some silver screws to hold in the rear weight. Cerakote the V2CE Perestroika red. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Bend test. Carbon fibre in that thick is not particularly flexible. I don't want to risk snapping it, but it's not particularly flexible. I'm not even sure I could snap it if I tried, to be honest. Drop test? No, why would I drop test it? You guys are insane. How could I get maximum flip potential if I drop it? Quidek has got to shoot. Looking forward to the VOD in 24 hours. Stupid Twitch terms of service. Yeah, it's just one of those things. We are now having to post our videos after 24 hours. So now I just need to try and take the weight out. Okay, so it's not going to budge there. I will give it a little adjustment. There we go. So there's the black weight, just so you can see that Jane logo. I'll try and get it in the light again, because it is there. I promise. If the camera focuses, there is a Jane logo there. There you go. It does exist. It's very difficult to see. Yusuke says that's the way. Yeah. Okay, and then now we can get into the remaining screws here. It must cost you a fortune, Yusuke, just hardware for these boards. I was amazed at how many screws are in the Jane. Yeah, I thought it had changed for the CE. I could have sworn I'd seen something that changed, but clearly I'm wrong. When the CE screws more than you do, absolutely. Jen needs a lot of screws. Absolutely. Okay, so that's now the board taken apart, which means we can take the top case off. Can have a look at the PCB and the internals as well. So a little bit of standoff to keep the PCB in place. Again, identical PCB to the one we looked at before. Looking really rather good though. And then just on the inside we do have this additional weight, which is centered where the alpha cluster is, so it should improve sound. That's a stunning piece of weight. I'm really interested to see how this sounds with the holes drilled into it. Looks really good. Cool. Okay, so that's the board all taken apart. Next thing to do is take the plate off. Serious question about the CE. Obviously it was simplified to make it easy to do things at a bigger scale. Do you consider a budget version of the Jane V2? Personally, no, I don't think so. I'd be interested to see Yutsuki's thoughts though. Yeah, more screws. I'm going to put these ones at this side because these are the plate screws and we're unlikely to use them for this build unless the Heine PCB has different cutouts and won't support the gasket. The price was the same as the normal Jane and Group Buy, as far as I'm aware, yes, or it was very, very close. There wasn't a huge amount of difference. I love that the hobby evolved from I want to not have RSI to I need a major in sound design to pick the right case. Absolutely. The hobby has changed hugely over the past few years though. If you look at the quality of boards like the OTD range and things like that and compare them to modern boards, there's a huge difference. There's absolutely huge difference. What was once considered premium with duck things and things like that, they're still great boards, don't worry. But you know, the quality in some of the more modern stuff is absolutely insane. Okay, so there we go. So that's the plate removed. Okay, so I'm going to put the top case just to one side for now. I'll take that back in a few minutes. The next thing I want to do is just compare the PCB with the Heine Bush one and the plate with the one I've had cut. So, first things we'll do is take a look at the plate, make sure that my plate will work as well because it's fixed ISO. So a couple of differences here. You'll see that we don't have the cutouts on my particular plate. Now I will be doing, so there's a long cutout here and then one here as well. I will be doing a build with this plate. I have a special build that I want to do as top mount, but as you can see mine is fixed ISO, so it fixes the plate in place. So there we go. Still gives it a 7U bottom row, everything else lines up perfectly, so that plate's definitely going to work. And as I say, we will be using this plate and the other PCB for a build later on. Which is interestingly going to have vintage brown switches in it, of all things. Vintage browns, there you go. Next thing to do is just have a quick look at the HAT8A. So this is the Heine Bush PCB. I haven't taken this out of the packet yet. Looks like it's still sealed. Just going to open this up. This is the Heine Bush PCB. There you go. H88 there, says in the bottom. A very, very pretty PCB. Heine is excellent at doing PCB work as well. I'm sure you guys are well aware, but do go support him out. Someone offered me 1.5k for mine. I don't even have it yet. What the hell? Yeah. How much did George pay you to build it with Brint Browns? Nothing. I want to use them, so yeah. Was there an Alps version of the PCB? I think the... let's have a look. Okay, so no, the original doesn't support Alps either. I'm pretty sure it would be fairly easy to do an Alps plate. I've still been seeing some pretty S9 flip prices, unfortunately. Yeah, I've been... OTD is still pretty good. OTD are great, yeah. They're just as... Don't get me wrong, they're good. I'm more meaning in terms of the quality of the manufacturers we use and things like that now. They're still great. I've still got a 356 somewhere, which is, you know, stunning. But we've also changed the way we design things to manufacture differently as well. The level of design that goes into things is very different. Unicorn 855 says, "Yay! I didn't miss the stream this time. Welcome. Thank you very much." I think we've caught up. Okay, so the next thing to do is just compare the H88 with the Utski PCB and just make sure that we can use it when it comes to the. Okay, so there you go, guys. You can see that it absolutely perfectly mirrors the original PCB in every dimension, so we should have zero problems in using that with the gasket. So there we go. So that's the PCB we're going to use, and just a reminder, this is the 1.2mm thick PCB, so we do have some additional standoffs that we need to use when we put the clip-in stabs in place, so we shall make sure that happens. I've got 4 stabilizers for this particular build. Okay, let's pop the PCB to one side. Bring over our stabilizers. Now, as I say, these stabilizers were taken from a vintage cherry board. I wanted some stabilizers that had been broken in, seen a bit of wear, a bit of usage before I lubed them. That being said, what we will be doing is just changing the wires on these because these are not in the best condition. They're slightly tarnished. We've got some gold Everglide wires which we're going to replace these with. So that's what we're going to do. I mentioned before, but I made the mistake of using Zeal screw-in stabs for my build. Yep, these are clip-in stabs. The gaskets on the base of these boards don't work if you use screw-in stabs. You need to use clip-in stabs just to make sure you've got the clearances. But that's the other thing. I just want to check actually the orientation of the stabs, make sure that that doesn't affect it for this. Okay, so the orientation is identical. Yeah, nice and simple. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the old wires out of these and put them to one side, and then I'm going to pop the new wires in, and we'll clip these as well in a second. Clip-in is the best, yeah, just for this particular one, yeah. OG clip-in, yeah. Well, the new clip-ins aren't that great. They're slightly scratchy because of the way that GMK and Cherry have retooled them. Okay, so that's all those taken apart. I'm just going to get some flush cutters and snip these on the base. For those that haven't seen me do this for a while, we're just going to take off the 2 legs that are raised. So you'll see that this leg in this corner here and this leg in this corner here are raised slightly off of the surface. We're going to clip those so that they're flush, and I'll show you how that looks in a second. So there you go, that's how they look after, just with 2 legs and nice and flush on the base as well. I'm just going to rinse and repeat that across all of these, then we'll loop the wires up and then we'll pop the stabilizers together. The vintage board. So yeah, so they are West German Vints. Lewis Flood in chat is going to take them off my hands. We've already arranged something there. I'm giving him actually two boards. So I'm giving him a Weiss board that's just got standard vintage blacks in, and then the board that these stabilizers came from was a West German vintage board. So yeah, so I'll send him those over. I was going to desolder them for him, but I'm not going to get time, so he's going to have to do that himself. If anyone has some vintage clip-in stabs I can buy for a reasonable price, please let me know. The shipping would probably kill it. I'd give you a set, but the shipping would kill it from me. Destroying all those vintage boards, shaking my head. I have some. I mean, the board itself wasn't in great condition, the actual case and everything, so it was fine. It was fine to take it apart. Sergeant Pick is here saying heyo. Hey man, good to see you. Okay, so now those are there. What we're going to do is we're going to start to put these back together, and we're just going to lube the wires as we put these in. So I have some dielectric grease and a small brush. And the first thing we're going to do is, I'll remove that dog here, just add a little bit of lube to each of the wires where it's going to go into the housing. Not tons, just enough. Add that onto the other side as well. You can see I'm just literally just brushing this on, make sure there's not too much. You can always add more later on if it's too little. And then we're just going to pop them in to the stabilizer housing, into the bottom hole, and then clip into the front. When I say the bottom hole, you can see on the front of these there are two holes. That's the front. That goes to where the wire clips in to the stabilizer housing. So you put the two holes, sorry, to the front where this clip is, which is where the wire goes. Okay, that's one done. So as I say, you take this, the wire clips in that side, two holes on the front, and you just slot it in like so. That's it. Acidic Pure subscribed for 5 months. Currently on a 5-month streak. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Gotta love those subs. First we'll clip this in first, and then we'll lube the other side. Got to bounce, but have fun everyone. Thank you very much for joining, Lewis. Appreciate seeing you here. Can't wait to see you in London. We'll watch the typing vid tomorrow. It'll be the day after. We can't upload videos for 24 hours now, sadly. So you'll be able to watch this from Tuesday onwards on YouTube if you want to catch up. Lewis isn't going to the London meetup. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. Much less rattle compared to a GMK stab stem. Cool. Once we've lubed these, well, once we've lubed the wires and inserted the wires, the next thing we're going to do is lube the rest of the stabilizer, and then we can go ahead and put them into the board. Can watch the VOD tomorrow though, right? On Twitch. On Twitch, yes. On YouTube, no. You have to wait 24 hours. Sir Jansen, he's here as well. Good afternoon, good sir, or good evening, wherever you are. It's evening here for me. It's just nearly 9 PM. So I hope you're having a very good day. Okay, almost there now, just the space bar left to do, and then we can carry on with the lubing, I think. Why exactly can't you upload immediately? Some exclusivity clause. Yeah, it's a Twitch thing. It's terms of service. Once you become affiliated on Twitch, you have to follow their rules, and one of their rules is that you don't upload videos for 24 hours. It's the other way around. Exclamation mark then build. There you go. Okay. Apparently this is the Cohen Romer's way of doing stabilizers. Take some vintage cherry stabilizers and put Everglide wires into them. So I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it the Cohen method. Cohen spec stabilizers. There you go. Build that board. Thanks, man. Thank you. Okay. Pass. I haven't tried the Everglide slider in these at all, so I have no idea. Okay, there we go. That's those all put together. What we're going to do now is we're going to lube the sliders. So what we're going to do is going to open the stab up as much as we can, and we're just going to lube this face of the insert, and we're going to flip it over and do the same on the other side. Now I still have plenty of lube on this brush, so I'm literally just going to put a very, very thin layer on here. Now you can always add more later on. You can add to this once the board's built in. You don't have to do it now, you can do it later on. Then we're going to flip it over, we're going to do exactly the same, really thin layer on the other side as well, and that's just to assist, make it nice and smooth. So you guys can see that's a really, really thin layer. You can barely see it. It just looks slightly wet, effectively. Okay. Again, don't have too much lube on the brush. You can always add more later on. It's harder to get rid of lube than it is to add it later. So you know, that might look pretty cool with smoky Everglide stabilizers. Yeah, it might do. You should experiment and try it out and let us know how that goes. An hour into the stream and I've only just started lubing stabs. That's crazy. This is going to be a quad anchor style build that takes me 5 hours to finish. Still taking really, really, really tiny amounts of lube out of my bowl here. The last thing I want to do is gunk up these stabilizers, so just putting a really, really thin layer in. Okay. And so you can always top this bit up on the board even once it's built. You can always get a brush in to do this particular part of the lubing job. So you don't have to go too nuts here or get them too perfect. You can always tune them later on. And stabilizers over time degrade anyway. No matter how nice they are when you first build them, they will change over time, and you will need to touch them up, top them up. Especially if you're like me and build a board and then put it on a shelf for a year and then try and use it afterwards. Okay. There we go. Now, never having used these highly thin PCBs before, does anyone know if these are supposed to go above or below the PCB. So do I put them on top of the PCB and then put the stab on top of that, or do I put them underneath the PCB and clip it in that way? I have no idea. I'm tempted to put them on the top. Below, 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 under. Okay, well, everyone's telling me to put them underneath, so that's what we shall do. Thank you very much, folks. No, I do have another Jane. I've just never built it. It's sat in the garage with a few other boards, and it's never been built. It's just a standard V2 in grey, but I've never done it. Oh, your stab is also set higher. Good point. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is pop in the backspace one. Whoops, that didn't go so well. Good job we've got some spares. I'll get that in a minute. Okay, so this is not wanting to clip in. Okay. Okay, so this is being very finicky. This is where you guys treasure trove of unbuilt stuff. Yeah, I've got a few things in the garage. Okay, so it doesn't like this at all. You have dibs on it, it doesn't have your name on it. Those are two very separate things, Cohen. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, so I'm really struggling to get these in place. The issue I seem to be having is trying to keep the front clip over it whilst the rear clip goes in place. There we go, that's got it. Okay, that's one side done. There we go. I think I've got the trick to it now. So that's one stabilizer in place. Next we're going to do the ISO enter. Apologies, I'm doing this off camera, guys. It's just really awkward to line them up. But we are making good progress. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we are going to go full shift on this side. I'm really struggling to line this one up and hold on to the PCB and clip it all in at the same time. There's 2 dropped on the floor. Good job I got some spares of these. Dibs on the Datsun. No one can call dibs on the Datsun. It's like, that's my pride and joy. Can I call dibs on his IM165? Yeah, but it's never going to get sold. That's the thing. A lot of the boards that I build or don't build won't ever get sold. So you can call dibs on what you like. The chances of you getting it still are slim to none. Just calling dibs doesn't mean to say I'm actually going to sell you it. My Exent is the same colour as my Datsun. It's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. Tell you what, I'm going to have broken fingernails after doing this particular build. Can't get this one's going. Let's take that out completely. Try again in a second. We're going to need some more anyway for the spacebar. I called dibs on his second set of Royal Alpha perhaps a year ago, and he still hasn't relaxed his grip on it. That's the thing, man. Just because I have something and you have dibs doesn't mean to say it's actually going to get sold. That's not how this works. Right. This time it's going to go in first time. So what I'm trying to do, and what the struggle is here, guys, is getting the additional clip under the edge of the stabilizer and then getting it lined up for the actual clip at the back as well. So it's really rather frustrating. You know what, I'm just going to try a different one just to see if it's slightly off shaped or something like that. Oops. I wonder if it's easy to install this once it's in, actually. Grr. We will get this, guys, I promise. There we go, that's in. Whew. Right, okay, just the spacebar to go. So I'm just going to line up the top on here to make sure I put the spacebar in the right holes. Let's do it this way. Okay. Just going to go there. There we go. Nice and easy. So these are 3 for easy to build at the minute. These are a struggle to get in, yes, I will not lie. I'm hoping they become easier when they're at the edge of the PCB. Another one on the floor. Man, I'm going to have to be careful when I back up. Okay, that's that one in. That was a little bit easier. Let me grab one of these off the floor. Okay, I can't. Too far under the desk. 2 more I can drop on the floor and then we're done. Run straight in. There we go. Okay guys, that's the PCB all put together. Finally. However, I'd argue that you shouldn't factor these into building. This isn't by any means a default option. It's not a default option, no, you're right. It is because I've gone for the flexible PCB. I'm really tempted to not use this plate actually, you know. And the reason why I'm tempted to not use this one and use this one with the other PCB is because this PCB is designed to be flexible. And this plate is more flexible because it's got a few more cuts in it. So I'm really tempted to actually use this plate with this PCB, and then with the solid PCB, use the solid plate. The original plate is hard with inks. We'll see. We'll see how we get on. Very tight apparently. Okay, well we'll see how it is. We'll try a few in, and if that's the case, we'll flip over and change the plate around. But that's the PCB put together for now. Let's get those switches back, and let's start to pop some of these into the plate. If these are really difficult to get into the plate, then we shall take a look at altering them. First one in pretty much straight away, no problems. Let's try putting a few in. Okay, again, that went in no problems. Box shades. Okay, again, no issues so far. This is all going together pretty easily so far. These are fine, it seems. Straight in, fully flush, no problems. That's a bent pin. Hopefully I've got enough switches here. I didn't actually count how many switches I did. That all looks fine for here. I'm just going to put a couple in the middle, 4 in the middle, and then a couple on the bottom row, and then we'll go from there. But these are going in just fine at the minute. And then pop one in there. We'll work out how we need to do the rest in a second. Let's push these into the PCB. There we go. Nice, 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 nice. All looking good there. Push those 4 in as well. All looking good. And then let's start on the bottom row. These are revision 1 Gatoron inks. These are the original round of Gatoron inks. So these are not any of the new ones or anything like that. Maybe that is the difference. Perhaps new inks are different. Hold on, one of those switches had a bent pin. Which one was it? I've just put a switch in the board that has a bent pin. This one here. Let me... typical. Where's my switch remover? There it is. Oops, there we go. Put it to one side. If we need to use it, we will. Victor Lungen is here as well. I have no idea. True professionals know you need to lube the outside of the switch too. Yeah, absolutely, man. Lubing the switch housing is a great idea. Can you imagine if we had to do that? Okay, yeah, I mean, my experience with this is These are just clipping in straight away, guys. There is no issues here at all. They're going straight in. They are flush with the PCB. You can see there that they are completely flush with the PCB. There is no issues pushing them in. They are flush with the plate. That one's a slightly bent pin. Just soak the switch in lube, it'll work fine. Yeah, just drown it, right? I know how you guys work. Okay. I do it with olive oil. The only downside is it's like holding a wet soap in the bath. Yeah, where's the soap? Everyone who's under 45 in chat will not get that joke. I guarantee it. Everyone under 45 will not get that joke. I think Vogon might get it. I think, if I had to guess, Vogon might get it. You got it, and I'm under 40. Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to prove my boomership. Okay. Explain the joke, then, Pingu. If you can explain the joke, then that's it. By 2 years. Oh, so you're a little bit older than me then, chat. You're a little bit older. I'm 35 this year. So I'm 35 on the 27th of March, which is the day before the next UK meetup. So there we go. something run. Holy chickies would fit stock plate given its cherry spec, yeah. I mean, these are fitting the stock plate. These are not difficult to fit. Either Yuski sent me a better plate than everyone else, or round one switches for inks were different sized, or everyone else has got weak thumbs. It's one of those three. So you can all take your pick, take your choice as to which it is. My bet is that the inks are just different. This is the stock plate, yes. But as you can see, these are not struggling to go into the plate, and these haven't been soldered. These switches are not like desoldered or anything else, so it's not like they've been shredded on another plate to make them fit. It's, round 2 doesn't fit Mil-Max. Well, Mil-Max sockets are only on the pins, so I don't think it's the pins that's the issue. So Mil-Max sockets only touch the metal pins on the base, doesn't touch the rest of it, and this is the switch width itself going into the plates that's apparently an issue. I think Rourke as well. I think that's his name from Geekhack is watching. I'm pretty sure he used Telios and said he struggled. I was watching pictures of his build. Switch width, yeah, not Mil-Max socket. Switch width, yeah. Jay has extra strong thumbs since they are never weakened by using them for his spacebar. Oof. Wouldn't more exercise make them stronger? More exercise makes them stronger, right? I've got a feeling I've not got enough switches, so we might have to do something special and different for the spacebar. Let's see where we get to. But I've got a sneaky suspicion I haven't lubed enough. Be back a bit later. Time for pizzas. Nice, man. Enjoy. I hope you thoroughly enjoy those. Okay, making some good progress now. Almost here with the switches. I'll grab some keycaps to get the bottom row in place as well. Go stepped caps because why not? Man, this is going to be close. This is going to be close, guys. Almost there with the switches. Almost run out of switches. I've got a feeling I might have to lube some live on stream. Or do something different for the bottom row. Whoops. Finally done the infilling. Nice! Congratulations. Yeah, okay, so we are 2 switches short, which is always typical. I've probably got some inks that I can quickly lube a couple up. Let's get some keycaps here just to do the bottom there. This is just to make sure that I'm putting them in the right spot. I'm just lining up the keycap, making sure that it's pushed in to the right part of the plate. There we go. That's that in place. We'll just rest that on there gently, and then we're going to get some 1.5U modifier keys, and we're just going to make sure that these match. I'm barely pushing the keycaps onto these. Doesn't matter what keycaps these are. Okay, and we'll pop the top back on, and then we shall line up the last 2 switches, which we're going to have to lube live on stream, guys. That's 1.5. There's one more 1.5 in the keycap here. Come on, guys. There we go. Those will do. They're not exactly the right keycaps, but hey, they will do the job. Right, let me try and find my ink switches. Why are you teasing me with Royal Alpha again? It was the closest set to hand that was easy accessible. Just be 1 second, guys, while I grab my little lube tray. Again, we're going to do these incredibly quickly. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change 2 switches because I'm not going to have the springs to swap into these guys. So what I'm going to do is just put these up in this top corner here. And just switch these 2 switches out for now, and then I'll just go back and change those once I've got the springs for them. Okay. Again, not the right keycaps, but pretty much just for alignment purposes. Make sure we've got it in the right switch slot. There we go. So that's all that done. Just get the 2 switches lubed for this top corner in a second. Whoops. Okay. James, just for you. Ta-da! There you go. Right, okay. So just going to quickly lube up these two switches. I have my brush here with 205 grade 0 on. I have some 205 grade 0 here. And I have some 105 here. And I have another brush. There we go, for the oil. So first thing I'm going to do, just put the two housings down. With inks, I don't like to lube the housings. All I'm going to do is pop the spring into the housing, like so, and like so. I'm going to take a tiny, tiny drop of oil on the end of my brush. This is a really, really small drop, so small you can barely even see it. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to insert the brush. The reason why I've chosen a long bristle brush is just so I can put it down the inside of the spring, and I'm just going to rock it around the spring itself. And that's one spring lubed. Going to rinse and repeat that on the other one. Again, just a tiny, tiny drop on that. Rock it around the inside of the springs, just so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm just inside the spring and job done. Okay, then we're going to take our stem. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of 205 grade 0, and then I'm just going to brush it on the slider. Now again, not putting too much on. This is a really, really light coat. If you've got too much on the brush, you can always take it off. And then again, just going to pull that off. So it's a really light coat. If it looks white, it's too much, and I'll remove that using the brush as a tool to do so. Onto the other side, same again, there's still plenty of lube on this brush. There you go guys, that's kind of how much lube I like to put on, just a really, really thin layer, just so you can see it shine. Look, bright white, what are you on about, bright white? It's just the light, the way the light shines off of it. There you go. I'll pop that on one of the switches, and then I'm going to take the cap, I'll just close it up, there we go. I think it was the lighting for the first few strokes. The light reflected on it so much that we became nervous on your lubing. Gosh, guys, gosh. My name is not Luke Barron. Again, a really thin layer on here. It's probably because of where I was doing it as well. Pew pew! Okay, great. James AQB knows my lubing. He knows I wouldn't overlube something. Okay. He usually goes in dry, to be fair. Excellent. I deserved that joke. And it would have helped if I'd have checked to see if we had a bent pin. Because we did. There we go. Okay, so that's everything in the PCB and the plate. Everything is nice and even. If the camera decides to focus on the thin edge, there you go, you can see everything is matched up nicely. There are no unwanted gaps, everything is flush, even and smooth. The stabilizers look like they're going to work just fine. Okay, so next job is now to solder the board together. So we've got a lot of tools in play here. I'll get rid of those. What's more impressive? Jay's endless stash of brand new GMK sets unopened and in duplicate, or Mr. Keeb's multi-level keyboard spares warehouse located deep in the jungles of Brazil. Mr. Keeb's has a way bigger collection than I do. Way bigger. I think I'm at around 150 boards now, something like that. Mr. Keeb's is probably at 300. But hey, if he's happy, then he's happy. I suspect Dansenbock as well, he's probably close to the 150 mark. He's probably ahead of me, if not very close to me. But again, there's some big Chinese collectors out there as well that have got huge collections that we don't even know about. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple in the middle and then we'll go row by row. If you're watching Nathan, he would still be doing he'd still be doing the unboxing. Yeah, I think Mr. Keeb's is somewhere up there. He must be close to 300 personal boards. I mean, I'm at around 150. I don't have an exact count because I would be terrified to do an exact count, but it must be around that kind of figure where I am. I know I started my Top Clack career back in January 2019 with 109 boards at that point. I have sold about 8 or 9, but then I've built a board every single week and only a handful haven't been mine. And we're now, 15 months later. So the math suggests I must be somewhere in the region of 150 now. And that's built boards. I have quite a few that aren't built, but I don't know how many of those there are. Okay, making some good progress here. And then we can test the PCB, and then from there we can finish the build. Ubi, sorry, how is that straw poll doing? How are people voting on key sets? Did that get updated yet? I assume people are still voting, or either haven't voted or joined the stream too late to vote. If you have joined the stream a bit late, Ubi is going to post the link to a straw poll where you can select which keycaps that I put on this board. White and black is winning. Classic retro wood. So me with 150 tofus isn't weird then? No, that's fine. 300 with dubs are like unique ones. Yeah, maybe. I don't have many duplicates. I've probably got a handful of duplicates, maybe 10 boards that I've got 2 or 3 of. If we were watching Nathan, we'd still be at the cat intro. I haven't watched Nathan's ages. I do need to try and watch his streams more, but he always streams when it's late here, so I never really get around to watching him. The last thing I watched him build was the Flex Virgo, and I had to watch that as a board, sadly. Okay, making good progress in there, guys. Do you think you can sell your keyboard collection for more than you sort of bought it for? I wouldn't. I'd only sell the boards individually for whatever I paid for them. I would never sell at flip profits. That's not me. It's like my other Jane, Cohen, has a deal to buy it off me if I ever decide to sell it. He knows I wouldn't charge him the earth for it. I'm not going to charge him the going rate, which is probably like, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000. He'll just pay whatever I paid for it, because that's the right way to be. I don't see it as me needing to make a profit off of selling boards that I've built or owned. I'm not a fan of flipping. I would much rather people just paid a little bit more for the boards, and that made the people that really wanted them buy them, rather than just anyone buy them to flip them. So you're saying Dibs is in play then? Dibs is in play? Sure. Jay tried to sell me a Space Cadet key for $500. No, dude, I'm giving you a gift with it for all the hard work you put in for some other things for me. I just have to wait for the gift to come, so I'm not shipping you two things. That's the thing. It should be here though. You can Dibs things if you like, but you know, if I don't sell them, then you don't get them. That's the thing. So you can Dibs whatever you like, but there's no official list. And if you say Dibs now and then I forget that you've said it and someone else Dibs it at the time, well, tough luck. The only ones I'm aware of at the minute are Cohen with Dibs on my other Jane, and James AKB with Dibs on any Royal Alpha sets that I might sell in the future. You have to be very, very persistent for me to remember your Dibs, I'll be honest. Okay, let's make a Dibs spreadsheet. No, Dibs on the doggo. No one's having my doggo. Can I Dibs your glasses? Why would I sell my glasses? Uncleaned. I clean them before. Well, I clean them 2 or 3 times a day, so they're always going to be clean. You guys don't want my stuff anyway. That's not how this works. You guys just don't want my stuff. Yeah, I can't understand why anyone would. Okay. Okay, nearly halfway through the soldering job now. And then, once we're done here, we'll test the keyboard, make sure everything's working. And then from there, we'll put the case back together, we'll put some keycaps on, we'll do a J-score, and then we'll finish the stream. Okay. If you guys have got any questions you want to ask me, now's the time as well. Just tag me in chat, just at @Clack, and say this is my question, answer it, and I will answer it. Anything goes, nothing is off the cards. You can ask questions about my personal life, you can ask questions about my keyboards, you can ask questions about anything you like. Okay, I have spotted a bent pin, so we will have to go and fix that before we solder that switch. As long as it's safe for me to talk about on Twitch and not break terms of service, I'll answer your questions, guys. Right, okay, so dibs on the soda can, dibs on Brian. This is getting really strange. Bro, I called dibs on this, Jane, when you won the raffle. On this one? Did you? Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Okay, Pusher has dibs on this one. I speak to Pusher a lot, so that's fine. Dibs on the drink. You don't want the drink. Dibs on your Flex Virgo. Jesus Christ. Okay, right, okay. Well, I haven't got that yet. You can't dibs something I don't have. That's like saying shotgun when you're not actually at the car. You can't do it unless the item's there, so that doesn't count. Sorry, NR Bigfoot, that doesn't count. So if I dib that macro pad, do I dib the Kipporas as well? How does this work? You would have to dib every single Kippora individual, which means you need to know the names of them. So there you go. which keyboard do I actually detest? A proper question. So I do detest a keyboard. It is a custom keyboard. It's not like a rubber dome thing or anything like that. And the one that I detest, because it's cost me so much time and energy to try and get it into a usable state, is the Doro 67. The group buy was a bit of a pain. The board is one of only 7 ISO ones made. I opted for brass with gold PVD parts on them. So for the base, I opted for a brass base with gold PVD on. It came with silver PVD on the base. So I was disappointed with that. The silver PVD was not any good. It was terrible quality. It was marked. There was problems with it, scratches, dents, all that kind of stuff. I actually sandblasted back the chrome on it. I took the PVD coating off, and what was actually left is it wasn't pure brass. It was kind of like a brass alloy mix. The keyboard itself came with some dents and marks on it on top of the case. It was a plate that was integrated into the board, and that had some dents and marks on it. Additionally, the stabilizer cutouts weren't done properly, so you can't actually put stabilizers in for the ISO enter and the right shift, which again, frustrating. You could build it with split right shift, I guess, but the ISO enter is absolutely key for me, and it's the only enter that board particularly supports. So the fact that the ISO enter doesn't fit without you dremeling the case to get the stabilizer in place is just shocking. So yeah, so I've had the board for probably the best part of a year now, and I haven't built it. I am one of the lucky ones. There's still some people that don't have their boards as far as I'm aware, so I do count myself as one of the lucky ones from the group buy, but I have no love lost for that particular board. So there we go. It's a good question. What those clips on the stabs, joined a little later, missed it. So the PCB's a thinner one than normal, which means it has to get the clipped stabs to work, you have to use adjustable kind of clips as well there. Among Chunks says, are all your builds personal builds? 95% of them are personal builds. I probably only did 5 last year, which were customer builds. I do customer builds, but I purposely price it quite expensive because I prefer to do my own builds, and my own build queue is very long. So whilst I will build boards for other people, they have to be prepared to pay a premium for it, because I tend to have too many boards in my own build queue at any given time. So it's as simple as that. I just don't have the time to invest in doing more than one stream a week, and the rest of my time is spent with my day job and doing prototypist keyboards as well, which is a project I'm working on at the moment with a few other people. So okay, I realise I've come back on the bottom row here, and I've still got the other row to do, which is fine. And then I've still got the ISO enter key to fix because it's got a bent pin. Question, most costly mistake on a personal build. So one of the first prototypes I ordered for the J01, the files that I sent, for some reason when I'd saved them, I'd put them at 75% of the actual size of the board, and I ordered the prototype, and the manufacturer made it at 75%, which means that you couldn't fit any keycaps in it. It was literally just 3/4 size. That was very costly. That probably cost me $600, $700, maybe more with customs and everything else. It's probably close to $800 all told, with customs and other fees as well. In terms of actual builds, I can't think of anything where it's cost me with the build. I mean, I've made mistakes where it's meant I've had to desolder switches and resolder them. That happens. Building so many boards, you're bound to do that occasionally. But I wouldn't call that costly. I've never broken a PCB that's been beyond repair. So I wouldn't say that was particularly costly. I've never damaged a keyboard case, as far as I'm aware, or certainly not to an extent that it's impacted the value of the board. if you count time as a cost, I've done it before. One of the first boards I ever built was a KBD 75, and I put that together and realised I hadn't put the stabs in, which is a common mistake to make. I've seen that done a lot of times. Okay, so that's the soldering done apart from the ISO enter. I just need to remove this switch, unbend the pin, and then put it back in and solder it. Where do you store your keyboards? There's a lot on the shelves behind me. There's about 60 in this room. The rest go in my garage. I have a storage pod in the garage, and the rest just sit in there. They are not on display. They're usually back in their original boxes, or I've boxed them up manually. And that's where they sit. Many of them are kits. Many of them have not been built. Many of them never will get built. If a keyboard languishes in this room for more than a couple of weeks, it gets put in a box in the garage. Okay, so that should be soldering done. I'm just leaving my sock. Are you going to show us QMK setup of the H88? Probably not going to do QMK on stream because I'm on a time limit. I do need to finish by about 10:30 tonight, which is 45 minutes from now. The reason being I have to be on the 5 AM train to Edinburgh tomorrow for work. So, you know, I don't want to be up past 11 o'clock. So if I finish at 10:30, give me half an hour to calm down, cool down, and to carry on from there. Let's catch up with the rest of the conversation. Strange, the subcutouts were fine on my Dora 67, but the back was messed up too. Yeah, I think it was just one of those things. How do you organise your build queue? By date of acquisition or by weight? I think the latter would make a lot more sense. Yeah, I know why you're saying that. So my build queue is based on what I want to build, and some boards keep getting pushed down that pile because new stuff comes in and I want to build that, and it's a case of whatever I feel like doing. Other times it'll be stuff that you know, I've agreed to build for certain vendors. So if I buy a keyboard in a group buy, some of the vendors might reach out to me and say, can you build it on stream? And then I will do, and I'll try and do that as soon as it comes in. I've only ever had a handful of keyboards given to me by vendors. So one was the Singer V3 that was given to me by Elaine. I've had a Clipper from Mechanisk, and I've got a Type X from Mechanisk, and I think that's about it. I had the Jerkin given to me by Hedgie, the little build that I did last week. But most of the keyboards that I have, 95% of them, I pay full price for. Yeah, that's just how it works. We've talked about the storage of keyboards. Are you going to show the QMK setup? No, probably not. I probably won't have time. You want to see what? I can't remember what you want to see. I don't know what we're talking about then. Oh, the mini proto. Oh, right, okay. I don't have it. I don't have it. It frustrated me and it went in the trash. It's simple as that. I actually took it in the car to the tip and threw it away. Where I go to look for vintage boards is kind of like it's the whole tip and kind of like a service, recycling centre and all that kind of thing in one. That board's long gone. Board's long gone. I was really pissed off with it. I actually threw it out of the bedroom window because I was really annoyed about it. How am I not broke from building so many boards? I spend about 10% of my disposable income on keyboard hobby, and that's about it. Have you ever overlooked inks to the point that they weren't usable? No, but I know people who have, Baron. I know people who have. What is the largest board I've built? The Hyper 7. So you can't see it, it's up here on the wall, but it's above where the camera views. But you can go Google it, Hyper 7 keyboard, and you'll be able to see it. Any boards you're looking forward to this year? Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Flex Virgo. I think that looks really cool, interesting, and unique. I'm also looking to the JO2 limited edition coming because I want my personal one. And then I've got some cool prototypes coming as well, so those as well. What do you work with? I work as a program manager stroke product owner for a financial institution in the UK. I claim dibs on Jay's garage. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. What do people unrelated to mechanical keyboards say when they now have 150 keyboards? They don't find out. They don't know. We're nice to see the J-score tonight. Yeah, I need to do the J-score. Okay, so we'll do the J-score. We'll finish the build, we'll do the J-score, and then we'll call it a day. So in general, what happens if you get a high-end board, they all just start showing up bad. I haven't ever had a high-end board come in bad. I'd class the boards that come in bad as being middle tier. If I had a high-end board come in bad, I would probably just put it to one side and be disappointed with it. I would reach out to the group by running and see if there's anything we could do. I wouldn't expect them to do anything because sometimes damage and shipping is not their fault. If they couldn't do anything for me, then, well, you know, I'd either build it and make do, or I probably wouldn't build it and it would sit in the pile. A B-stock rain from me. Oh yeah, I did get given a B-stock rain from AKB James. No PCB, but he did give me that. Purely because he wants to see the project that I've got in mind for it. And I offered to pay for it as well, and he wouldn't let me. What are your recommended vintage boards for harvesting switches? So, let me show you. So this one is the one that's going to Lewis Flute. So this is a vintage cherry board, and as you can see, this is what I would recommend for switches. West German G80 1000. This is the HAY key set, so this is a Yugoslavian board, but yeah, West German switches, G80 1000. That's what I tend to do. It has got some great keycaps on it, Yugoslavian keycaps, which do need a clean. They are filthy, but they will get cleaned, and that's what I'll be using on a build soon. So there we go. Just joined. Thoughts on Vaporwave? It's really nice. I really like it, and I really shouldn't, but I do. Okay, I'm pushed for time, so let's carry on and try and get the board put back together. Let's get a J-score done. Even if this doesn't work, I don't have time to fix it, so I'm sure it will work. It's a Heine PCB. I'm pretty sure I haven't damaged it in soldering. So let's test it and see where we get to. That's a good start. There's the Windows noise. Let's get Switch Hitter up for you. I've got it on another screen just here. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so let's go through and see what works and what doesn't. Okay, so everything looks good so far on the F row. What's that going to show up as? Okay, that shows up a 0. There we go. Nice. Okay, all looking good. ISO enter as well. I am expecting some of the ISO keys might not work. Oh no, that did. So sometimes the ISO keys don't work on boards and you have to do them yourself manually. These are all working just fine, so that's great. Oh, now sticky keys wants to turn on. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, all working there. One key not working here. Let's have a look. Did I solder that key? Did I solder it? I did solder it. That must be FN. Let's see if we can figure out what it's doing. Do something different, guys. Do something different. Okay, it's doing something on those keys. So yeah, so those keys here, delete works. Then that doesn't say it is FN, so it's working. Cool. Okay, I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing something. So there we go. The PCB works, guys. That is a huge, huge relief. Okay, now we did say we were going to build this with the gasket, so I have the gasket here. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and then we're going to stretch this around the outside of the board, and set this between the PCB and the plate. We'll tuck that in there in just 1 second. Okay, so what I need to do here is just tuck it round the USB switch, cut out, and just make sure it's not going to catch on that, which we can do. There we go. So there you go, you can see that that's now nicely set around there. What's your favourite tactile, a linear tactile clicky switch? Favourite clicky is probably the Phoenix stems. I quite like those in any switch housing, doesn't matter because it's clicky. Tactile, I would probably go Zelios V2. Linears, I like any of the JWK stuff, and I really like inks. I've liked inks for a long time. Jay, getting into vintage stuff, this is heartwarming. I've always been into vintage stuff, that's the thing. Oh my god, I've made it. Hello Jay, hey Classy. Where are my switches, man? Where are my switches? Give me my switches. Is the Yugoslavian keycap set the most unusual one you've ever had in your hands? No, I can show you another one that's really unusual. These are again double shot keycaps. These are GMK double shot keycaps, or cherry as they were. This is UK ISO with Cyrillic pad printed legends. There you go. OG double shots. You can see there, double shots with pad printed legends. That's probably the most unusual one I've had because it's really rare. I've never seen another set of that. So thank you very much to Pingu for finding that one for me. Okay, so that's that done. We are going to use the gasket, so we don't need to screw that together. What we need to do now is get the top case and align this inside. As I say, we are not using okay, that's all looking good there, all fits nicely, excellent. We're not using the top mount screws. Then we're going to put the base on as well and line that up. That's all looking good. And what I am going to do is just put a screw in each corner first of all to hold the top and the bottom case together. I'm just going to tack this one in slightly, so I'm just going to go finger tight on this one, and the reason for that is so that when I tighten the next one up in the furthest corner I can align everything up correctly. I'm just going to push that down, and then just before I tighten it up I'm just going to make sure that the top and the bottom case are aligned correctly across those 4 axes. So I'm going to push that in place, tighten that one up fully, then I'm going to come back across to this one, finish off that alignment with my fingers, make sure everything's nice and flush, tighten it up, and then go from there. This is peak performance, I love it. Pingu, I love Pingu because he found the set. Well, actually he could have bought it himself and he didn't have to tell me about it, but he did because it was really nice. What's the benefits of this PCB over the stock TGR? It's thinner, so this is a more flexible PCB, so it should lend itself better to the gasket build. And then when I use the more fixed PCB, the firmer PCB because it's thicker, and the more fixed plate, then we should see a bit of a improvement from that perspective as well. Okay. Okay. I hope Depleted Vespine saw that other set that I showed, because he's gone very quiet since I showed it. The gasket looks way better with the clip-in stabs. Damn, going to need to desolder mine. Now that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, I'm learning from other people's mistakes, man, because other people, well, not mistakes, but other people's findings, because other people have done that and then found out that that's the way it is. So I've learned from that. Yeah. Will you bring this board to London? Can't wait to try it. Probably, yeah, I'll probably bring this to London. I'm only going to bring 2 or 3 boards, I'm not going to bring loads. Normally I take the full-on suitcase full and end up with 5 or 6. Straight Classy didn't come back with my Switch update either. Straight Classy, where are my switches, man? Where are my switches? Right guys, you need to pick right now the first person to post in chat, black or multicolored, it will go with that one. So whatever the first person posts, that's what we're going to go with in terms of the weight. Chat's gone thingy. The first person was George, he said multicolored, so that's the one we are going to go with. Well done George, congratulations, there's no prize, but you win on that particular one. There we go. I did say whoever did it first, he came first, he got to pick. No, there's no prize, but the prize of having the right weight on the board. Well, yeah. When I rebuild this, we'll go with the black weight. Oh, so Straight Class is back, but he's still not giving me a straight answer on these switches, man. I've been waiting for months for these from him, like literally months. I think it was 2016 when I ordered these switches, and he's still not sent them. George says he always comes first. That's unfair. Unicorn Salami says, why? Why what? Why what? I don't know why what. Okay, last thing we need to do is pop this plate back in position, and then we can put keycaps on the board. I'm just going to make sure we've got nothing sat under this that's going to cause it to lift off. Okay. Early desk mat delivery. Which desk mats? The 8008 one? Yeah, I've had this about a month. This came from the good people up at mykeyboard.eu. Oh. Apparently I set Siri off, I don't know where my phone is. Why is part of the sound settings? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. God knows. There you go. Probably because I closed the app, so it's trying to find it, and I didn't remove the visible thing from you. So it just flicked over to whatever the next screen was that it could show. Okay, almost there now, guys. 2 more screws, and then we are done. The board is back together. We can then put some keycaps on it, then we can give it a sound test, and then we can do a J-score. Okay, so there we go, guys. That's all put back together. How good does that weight look on the back there? Cool. Look at that changing colour. Use Perestroika. I don't have Perestroika. It's not out yet. Okay, interesting. There's a fair bit of flex in that. That's interesting. That's going to be an interesting type of typing feel. Okay, I'm just going to move the weight out of the way. Tidy up a little bit. Don't need that anymore. That's all done with. There we go. Yeah. The weights are insane, so glad I went for the multi. I think I personally prefer the black, but I do like the multicolored weight. As UB says, now is the time to go and vote on the key set that we use. Depending on which key set you use, I'll try and find an artisan to the ones I've got to hand to fit on it as well. There, actually. There we go. Okay, so here's a board, guys. I'll show you this off. Use fingerprints. I'll wipe that all off later on. There we go. Looks great. Real big fan of this. As Apocalypse says, please consider GMK darling. Yes, 4 days left. I want that Kipora, dude. I really want that. The inks look great, don't they? Olive or bust. Right. Well, let's see how the straw poll does. Let's see the results. Okay, so Olive is currently winning, but only by 1 vote. It's up to you guys. Now, I will warn you, if I do use white on black, I am going to use GMK Unicorn accents with it. So, does that help change it or not? If I use GMK Unicorn with GMK White on black, does that change your votes? Go vote now, guys. Add the black Kipora on the F13. I've got a ton of Kiporas. I've got a whole tray of them somewhere. I've got some on other boards as well. I'll figure one out. If someone designed a board with F1 to F24, would you buy it? Maybe. It would depend entirely on the board and how I like the styling of it. What's the current status on the JO2 manufacturing? It hasn't started yet. The coronavirus has closed down the manufacturers at the minute, so it should be starting soon, but Upas is dealing with all of that from Canon Keys, so if you need any further updates, go ask him. I'll be posting updates as he gives them to me on my Discord channel. There you go. It's still 1 vote ahead for Olive. I haven't voted in this yet, personally, but I'm tempted to vote for White on Black with Unicorn. And of course my vote counts for 2, which would put it in the lead. So unless something significantly changes in the next 10 seconds on that voting that Undercover Brother posted, we're going to go with white and black. Is it going to be another run of JO1? Maybe, but it'd be a changed version. It wouldn't be exactly the same as this version. There would be some slight changes to it. I think they're tied. 27 to 29. Oh, well, white and black's way in advance now. 27 to 29. Okay, of Olive. I am excited for Olive. We will use it later. That's it. Poll closed. Yeah, we'll go from there. Do you have a no-go plate material? Anything metal? I kind of want to not use anymore. So yeah. Shaking my head. Russian voting system in full display here. I call cheating. Thanks, Pusher. But it says on my screen right now that 29 votes goes to white on black and 27 votes goes to Olive. So Olive on the next board, promise. So let's get white on black out, and then I think the unicorn mods will look really nice with it anyway. Yeah, steel plates wouldn't be nice. Oh, the UK ISO keys are on top because they didn't come in this set. Okay, so we can put those on first actually. These are just the UK ISO keys that were on top of the board. That's the 6U spacebar. Don't need that. Steel plates are pretty nice on vintage boards with big boomy cases. Yeah, sometimes it can be. I wouldn't want it on a modern custom though. Straw poll if the stabs are popping out or no. Do carbon fibre keycaps exist? Not as far as I'm aware. If they did, I would be all over them. Oh gosh, can you guys see how much that's flexing? I'm not sure if that's visible there. If you watch the, is that visible? I'm not sure you guys can see it, but there is a load of flex when I just push the keys on. I don't think I can easily show that on camera, but there is. You have to trust me, guys. It's there. All aluminium, trying other stuff now. I'm nearly all carbon fibre, I'll be honest. Nearly every single one of my boards I've moved over to carbon fibre in the past 2 years. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's a nicer plate material. Metals give you this kind of ping that carries through the case. I'm not a fan of that. Plastic plates reduce that significantly and then have their own sound profile. I also like POM. I think that sounds great as well. Just realised. There we go. I've got my first metal plate material coming with Tengu, mostly being polycarbon FR4 flakes today. I think creams on brass will be a vibe on Tengu for me. Brass is fine when you've got a sandwich mount like that, an isolation mount. Can't wait for the sound test. Me too. I'm really excited to do this one. Weird flex, but okay. Not sure what Raven Master's flexing about there. Carbon fibre casing, maybe. Who knows? So for the Evolve's weird uniform flex steel, yeah, same. I'm really excited for the Evolve. I think that's going to be a great board. I'm excited to do the Lodestone as well, so we're still waiting on the prototypes for that at the minute. Oh, you guys must be able to see that flex there. You must be able to see these keys moving when I press that. I like the muffled sound, but I don't like the look of raw carbon fibre. It reminds me too much of tacky hot hatch body kits. Yeah, I get that. Or cheap, poorly done wraps. That's the other thing that I see a lot here in the UK. Koenigsegg naked carbon, absolutely. Why not? You've seen people wrapping aluminium plates in carbon fibre vinyl? That seems a little bit bizarre. need stepped caps. How would switches even fit in a wrapped plate? You don't wrap in the holes, you just basically lay it across the top and then cut it out, I suspect. Okay, need split shift. Here we go. Estimated ship date 29th of the 2nd, 2020. What's that for? What's shipping in late Feb? Never seen Unicorn before. It's just a small add-on kit. I'm only going to put a couple of keys on from it, nothing major. Let's have a new spacebar. Oh, FC65. Excellent. I'm excited to see that ship soon. Yeah. I think there's one other person that's going for a ISO layout for that. Although I suspect, yeah, as Apocalypse just said what I was going to say, I think it'll be shipped a little bit later than what is anticipated currently. But I think I'm going to have to give the other person that's getting an ISO one of the Lodestone PCBs, because that's the one that 159's told me to use for my FC65. Okay, let me see if I can find a black Kipura or other artisan to use for this. In fact, actually, we could just use this. Let's just use this. There you go. Here you go, guys. Focus, damn you. Nice black and white Fugu. There we go. And then, for those of you who haven't seen GMK Unicorn, it's just a couple of different keys that give you some different colours and different choices. I'm literally just going to use a couple of them. Maybe use the shift keys, I don't know. What do you guys think? Shift keys or no? Shift keys or no? Yes, shift keys. No, yes, no. No. No, yes, no. Yes, yes, no, yes. Hard pass. Yes. No. Okay, the first one to post a yes or a no when it flips over to a 15 timestamp, that's the one we're going to go with. So as soon as it flips over to 15, whatever it says on screen at that point, that's the one we go with. That's the last answer I'm going to go with. It's not flipped over yet. You guys keep saying no and yes and everything else. Frostfire, thank you very much for the 19 months of Twitch Prime subscriptions. Really, really appreciate that, dude. Thank you very, very much for that. Okay, chat's going nuts now with everyone's trying to get there. Oh right, okay, went to 15. What was the first one? Hold on. Kakan was first with no with a 15 timestamp. So Hugh was the last one on 14. Kakan was the first one on 15. So no, we're not putting them on. So there we go. That's the board all put together. I think I prefer it with the shift keys. I'll probably change it later on after the stream. In fact, I'm going to keep them to one side because I'm going to change it after the stream. Screw you guys, but we'll keep it as it is for now. Yes, yes, no, yes, perhaps, no, yes, whatever. There we go, guys. That's the board put together. Don't need that space bar either. That can go back in the tray. So here it is. Here is my Jane CEV2 with GMK white on black and GMK Unicorn with a white on black Fugu as well, using the multicolored weight. I think the multicolored weight works really well with those accent keys. I think that works really nicely. So there we go. Next job is to weigh the board, and then we'll do a sound test. So let's come on. So in grams, we are weighing 2.37 kilograms, so 2 kilograms, 37.5 grams. And let's just change that over to pounds and ounces. Pounds and ounces, that's 5 pounds, 3.7 ounces. So there you go, 5.37. So, pretty chunky. Pretty chunky. Don't forget to turn your music off for the sound test. Yeah, I won't, I'll turn it off. So, hype for GMK Alter, can't wait. Bring the microphone a little bit closer. Let's mute the music. Okay. So, this is the TGR Jane V2 CE with lubed inks using GMK clip-in stabilizers, the Heinebusch H88 PCB, the O-ring gasket mount solution with GMK white on black and GMK Unicorn mixture in ISO layout. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Okay, this sounds great. I'm really, really happy with it. Right shift sounds wonky. Yes, the keycap wasn't on it properly. Sounds fine now. Yep. Yeah, you were right. It wasn't on properly on the keycap. It now is, so that's good. The board looks great. How good does this look? It sounds really, really, really quite good. Right shift is never to be used again. Yeah, the only I've realised I put some keycaps on wrong. No, this is because I took them out of the box and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. The only key I ever use right shift for is question mark. That's literally it. That movement is literally the only time I ever use right shift. Everything else is left shift. It's this pinky. That is the only key movement I make with that shift key. But anyway, there we go. That top row sounds so good. There's not a lot of flex to it, but you can actually you can see the board flexing in normal typing. I can see a tiny movement, maybe half a millimeter up and down. That sounds so good. Put the music back on. That sounds so good. I'm really, really impressed with the sound on this. I wasn't expecting anything less. It doesn't disappoint. It just sounds really nice. Sounds really, really good. Really good. This top row sounds fantastic. Right, okay, that's great. So there's a little bit of flex, not a lot. You can see it move. Absolutely, you can when you're typing on it. I can see the top row moving as I'm typing just normally. I am a heavy typist, but it feels very soft on the bottom out. So yes, you can. We have on the key. Okay, is that in a different language? Kakan? Don't know. But yes, okay. So that's the board, guys. I'll move the microphone back now. It's time to do a J-score, and we're going to do this really quickly because I've got about 10 minutes to do it in. So I have got the J-score ready. I've already put in some of the details. So I paid $683 for it. That was made up of $612.24, which is what I paid for the board, including fees and everything else, and $70.36, which was the shipping to me. So that's the total. It was $683, give or take a few cents. Nice and simple. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over to ease of build. Now, bear in mind, we do always replace. I'm reading the order. I saw the word replace, then posted by Depleted Bassman, but I said it rather than saying what I was going to say. Now, we do always judge these builds on the board that I've built and how it's built. So this is with the H88 PCB and those funky little clips. Now, they weren't particularly difficult, it was just difficult to align them. So my view on this, guys, and if you want to get ready to put your scores in, how this works is 10 is a good score, 1 is a bad score. We can give a 0 score. So 0 is low, 10 is high for all of the categories. I'm going to ask you to put a score in for each of the categories, and we're going to do a J score and a community score. First one is ease of build, so how difficult was it for me to put this board together. So if you guys want to put your scores in now, we're looking for a 22 timestamp, 22 minutes past the hour. If you guys put your scores in there, so 5 is average, it was perfectly average to build. 3 would be it's very difficult to build. 7 is pretty easy, and 10 is damn, that went together easily. So I see 10 has been a hot swap board because it goes together super easily, and 1 as being something that's really, really difficult to do. So bear in mind, when we looked at the jerkin yesterday, that got an absolutely average score from me because we had to solder all the diodes. So from this one, I think this is pretty good. The hardest part about this was the Heine PCB, putting the bloody clips on for the clip-in stabilizers. If I'd have been using screw-ins, it would have been much simpler. Swings and roundabouts, one of those things. I'm going to give this a 6. So that's my score for the ease of build. I think absolutely fine, dead easy. It wasn't particularly difficult. It was definitely not harder than the jerkin doing all of the diodes and everything else. So there we go. Let's see what you guys put in. So 6, 5.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6, 7, 6, too many screws. That doesn't make it difficult though. Screws don't make it difficult. That's maybe just a frustrating thing. So yeah, we'll go from, but I get your point. 6, 6, 5, 6, 8, 3 from Derek, 7 for clip-ins makes it a 5. Okay, so I think you guys are probably averaging a little bit higher than me because there's a lot of 5.5s, a lot of 6s in there, a couple of 8s and a 7 as well. So I think you're going to go for a 6.5 from you guys. A couple of low scores do bring it down a little bit, but that's fine. Packaging, so if you guys remember, it was in a big sturdy box. We're looking for a timestamp of 23 now, guys. Go ahead and give me your scores out of 10 for packaging. So big sturdy box, you know, it was a really thick sturdy box. There was padded inserts in there of foam that were 2 inches thick all the way around. You know, so it was sat inside this box. Look how thick the walls of this box are. Double corrugated card, big thick padded inserts in the bottom of the case. Everything was wrapped up. So the spare weight was wrapped up as well. It was really, really good. Now, it's not fancy, it's not flash, but it does the damn job. 5 is perfectly adequate. This is way more than adequate, but it's not on the level of Keycult, for example, where they got 10 for this because the packaging was just insane. I think this is a good 7.5. It's the highest I'd give it without giving customized packaging at that point. Okay, stop there, guys. Let's see what you guys come up with. 8 from James, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6, 7, 6.5. Good, but didn't feel special. Absolutely agree. 6, 5.5, 7, 5, 6, 7.5, and a 6. Okay, so I think you guys are probably averaging a little bit lower than me at about a 7 because there's a few 5.5s in there and a few 6s. So I'm going to put a 7 in for you guys. Jumping over then, guys, we're looking for a timestamp of 25 for the next one, which is first impressions. When I took the board out of the box and I was unboxing it, what did you guys think? Did you guys think that this was going to be, you know, a stunning board? Did you think it was going to look as nice as it did? Do you think it was going to what was your first impression of this board? Because I've got to be honest, this base, and I know it's filthy with fingerprints from building it, I'll clean it later, and that weight, oh, that weight, look how that changes. Look at that Jane logo as well up there. It focuses. Come on, camera, focus. There you go. It just looks so good. I'm going to give this an 8.5 because I think it looked stunning. It was, you know, it exceeded my expectations a little bit. I didn't expect it to be this nice. Just happened to see the stream. Do you ever review pre-built keyboards compared to custom-built ones? Very rarely, I'm afraid. I don't tend to touch pre-built keyboards. All tends to be custom. Kane the Game One, sorry, but tends to be all custom. Very, very rarely do I touch anything pre-built. That base and weight, man. Yeah, absolutely. So where did you guys give it on the scores? We're looking for a 25 timestamp on this one. So a couple of 9s to start us off, then an 8 and some more 9s. Cool. Everyone's almost giving it a 9 here. A few 8s, a 7 there from Duckcom. Incredible from Zapocalypse, but he gave it a 9 as well. 9, board 9, weight 10. That weight is stunning. 8, 9, 8, 7, 9, 8. Okay, hold it there, guys. I think you guys are a little bit higher than me. I think the average is a 9 because of all of that. So, well, maybe actually there's a few 7s in there. Let's go for 8.5 as well. I think that probably is about fair. Okay. So now we've done the build score, we're going to move on to the home score, see what you guys think to the home score. The first one here is value. Bear in mind that this was $683 to get me to the door, not counting the cost of the Heine PCB, which I think was $50 on top, plus switches, plus keycaps. This is a $1,000 board any day of the week. Do you think that that value is worth it? Post with a 27 timestamp for this one, guys. 10, absolutely, it's worth every penny. 1, it's really, really expensive. It's not worth the money at all. What's the value from your guys' perspective on this one? Just for reference, we give the Keycle, which was $900 just for the board alone, a 6 and a 4. For me, this one, it's a lovely board. I think it's... Am I sad that I bought it? Absolutely not. Am I happy I bought it? 100%. Do I think it has good value? Bang for buck? No. You're into diminishing returns at this kind of price level. I'm going to give this a 5, run of the road. Slightly higher than I gave the Keycut number 2 because it's cheaper, but I class the board as pretty much on par in terms of quality. So that's where I'm coming up with this one. It's middle of the road for me, value. If this was $150, 10. If this was $900, 3. You know, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Okay, let's see what you guys come up with from that. 1, a 2, a 10 from Coin Roamers. That's fair, dude. That's fair. You think it's worth it? Absolutely, I completely agree. 3, 8, 6, 4, 4, 7, 7. All over the scores now. I understand low numbers for my market prices. So... that's fine. This is based on the cost I paid for this. Very pricey but good quality. Also, whether or not you like flipping boards is a potentially very sound investment. If you want to have a look at customs, it's not really making me feel like spending another 1k. Absolutely, fully agree. 5, 7, 4, 6, 6. So the scores are all over here. I think you guys are pretty much going run of the mill. There's a couple more scores that are on the high end. Those 7s and that 10 from Cohen. So I'm going to give you guys a 6 and say you're slightly ahead of me from that one. On to style then, guys. So we're looking for a 28 timestamp for this one after NR Bigfoot 6. What rating would you give this for style out of 10? Style out of 10. That side profile, that rear weight. What's the style of this board? How would you score the style of it? I've got to be honest, I think this is even more stylish for me as a TKL than the number 2. I'm going to give this 9.5, I think. 9.5 is pretty much where I'm at the minute because I just think it's stunning. I've been really excited to get this board. It's been so difficult to not open it until I had you guys with me today. So yeah, okay, let's see what you guys come up with from this. 9, 9, 8, 9, 10 from George, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8.8. So 8.5 then depleted Vespine. We only do 0.5s on the number. Whole integers or halves of them. 4, 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 9.5, 8.5. That black is a fingerprint magnet. It is. I will need to give the board a wipe down after the stream. Yes, absolutely right. 10, local pride, 10, 10, 9, 9, fine, 9. Okay, so I think you guys are pretty much in line with me. There's a lot of 10s in there, but there's some really low. 2B pencil, I'd be really interested to see why you class this as a 4. Really interested to hear that. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a 9.5 as well. On to quality. You guys saw me take this apart, you saw me put it back together, I showed you every single part that I took off the board and we looked at it. Let's look at a 2230, so we're looking for a 30 timestamp on this one after Yutsuki's heart. Yutsuki, thank you very much. What do you think from the quality? I have to be honest, in terms of quality, the fitment, the finish, the QC, I'm blown away. This is one of the nicest boards I've ever had the privilege of building. I can't not give this a perfect score in terms of the quality. There is not a single fault, there's not a single flaw on the board. I've not noticed any machine lines, I've not noticed any hook marks, and I'm pretty good when it comes to noticing those kind of things. Yeah, I think this is pretty much perfect. Even the anodization, the colour matching is on point. You know, that quite often, even in top-end boards, it leads it astray. So for me, quality, 10. Let's see where you guys got to. 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, 9.5, 9. Quality for TGR is a 10, 10, 10. For me, the only good looking parts are on the wrong side of the board. That's fine. 10, you still give it a 10. 10. I'll come back to you the second 2B pencil. Thank you very much for giving me the thoughts there. 10, you make that a 10, 10. I know there's been a couple of marks under a 10 here. There's been a couple of 9s and a 9.5. I think you guys are going for a 10 overall, though. I think that's pretty fair on the average. Typing sound. Go for a 31 timestamp for typing sound, guys. I did a full typing test earlier on. That top row sounds heavenly. It's got to be a 9 from me. I haven't found anything that sounds, you know, anything like this. So yeah, gonna go for a 9 for that. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to go better. I think ink sound better on a plastic board, but it sounds good here too. I'm a big, huge proponent fan of carbon fiber. I've used it in all of the custom boards I've done, the J01, the J02, the Lodestone, all of the boards that you've seen publicly from me, they've all had carbon fiber plates. So I'm a huge fan of that. Adrian says Matrix sounded way better than this. That's fine. That's entirely up to you to think that. Yeah, it's completely subjective, so don't disagree. To be just coming back to your comment, you said QC is off the scale for the Jane and Keycol, but they're such boring boards for the price they ask. So QC is a 10 out of me, just boring to look at when in use. That's completely fine. That's your opinion. Yeah, a lot of people disagree with you, but that's fine. It's your opinion, man. So just on the typing sound, then we were looking for 9s, 6.5, 8, 8.5, 8, 8, 8, 9, 10, 9, 9, 8.5, 9, and a 7. Okay, so you guys are probably a little bit lower than me on this. The average seems to be somewhere around an 8. There's some 6.5s and other bits in there, so I'll go for an 8. You guys are going to have to trust me on typing feel. We always use the same score for this just because you physically can't use the board. This is... You can't see the flex, but it is there. On the gasket build, as we have it here, this feels just on the right side of soft on the bottom out from a typing perspective. There's a little bit of give to it there. You can feel it. You can feel yourself bottom out, and you can feel that kind of little bounce underneath your fingers as you're typing. I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 for a typing feel. And I know you guys are going to have to trust me on that, whether you agree or disagree. I'm sorry. I can't do anything from that perspective. Okay, on to the difficult one then, guys. Innovation. So a low score means it's not very innovative. A high score means it is really innovative and it's something new. 5 is not the middle ground here. An absolutely average board that is what we've seen. So if you had a top mount 60% that has no frills whatsoever, that's not going to be innovative at all. So it's not going to get a 5 on that. It's going to get a 1. So guys, based on that, this is a TKL. You guys have seen TKLs before. You saw me take apart the board, you saw me build it back up. It is a very similar feel to the Unicorn, yes. Yeah, a little bit firm, tiny bit firmer than the Unicorn. You guys give me a score here on how innovative you think this board is. There's a lot of different things in it that I do like. The way that the weight fits in, I really like. So the fact that you slide it in and then screw it down from the base up is really nice. The fact that you can flip it between gasket and top mount is really nice as well. That's not innovative. We have seen that on other boards. The E6.5, for example, jumps to mind. But this board does feel really good irrespective of that. This is a really difficult one. I think I'm going to go for a 3.5 because it's great, but it's a design that we've seen an iteration of. There's been previous Janes. There's been the Jane CE, the Jane V2, the Jane V2 CE. You know, we've seen a few iterations of it. So as much as I love the Toblerone weight, I'm going to give it some points for that. As much as I love the gasket and top mount innovation, which is better than the E6.5's implementation of that, by the way. The gasket does not work on the E6.5. I'm going to give it a 4, actually. I'm going to go for a 4. Okay, that's where I'm going to put my point now. Let's see what you guys said. Softer than the Sirius? No, the Sirius is a little bit softer with its POM plate in it. So that's a little bit softer. Okay, so 4, 4, 5, 3, 6, 5, 4, 4.53, 10 from Going Romans. He's going for the perfect score here. 4, 5, 3, 4, 6, 2. It has the carbon fibre base. It does, yes, that's true. That's another point I didn't comment on, but it does have that. 6, for the weight finish and how that changes the aesthetics of the TGR board compared to others. Yeah, I did mention the weight. I didn't mention the colour. The way that weight changes colour is stunning. That is an innovation, yes. Do you know what? That's convinced me. I'm going to change my score to a 5 just on that basis. 3, 7, weight centered under the Alphas, Toblerone weight. So we have seen the weight centered under the Alphas on other boards. So that doesn't mean it's innovative here. So we saw that on the Germany, for example, that had weights centered underneath there as well. So that finish on the weight is something we've never seen before. Yeah, that's why I've just given it an extra point. So there we go. Okay, so and that's fine, Dark Heaven Light. You don't have to see the innovation if you don't want to. You know, it's completely subjective. Is this completely subjective, not objective at all, and it's all for fun. Don't use this as a buying guide, guys. It's not a buying guide. It's just a for fun exercise. So I think you guys are all over again. I think you guys are broadly in line with me. I'm going to put you guys down for a 5. Okay. Next question then, cool factor. If you saw this on someone's table, desk, office, whatever, give me a score. We're looking for a 37 timestamp now. Give me a score for cool factor. How cool is this board out of 10? 10 means it's super cool. 1 means it's not particularly cool. You guys go from there and tell me what you think. So if it's really, really cool, give me a high score. If it's not cool, give it a low score. If it's just meh, then give it a 5. So run of the mill is 5 on this one. And see what you think. So I think it's cool because I know what it is. As soon as I saw this on someone's desk, I would know that logo across the top here, that TGR, the F13 key, that weight on the back. I would think it's a cool board. It is a cool board. There's a reason why these are so hyped on the aftermarket. I'm going to give it a 7.5. Okay, so pause there, guys. We were looking for a 37 timestamp. Victor started us off with an 8.5. George said 11. Cohen went for 5. He reduced his scores. He's not gone perfect 10s now. A 3 from Rabbit Sensei. That's fair. 5, 5, 9, 10, 8, 4, 10, 4, 6, 9. You guys are up and down here. There's 4s and 10s next to each other. It's crazy. 8.8, 9, 8, 8, 9. 9 if they let me peek at the back of the board. That's fair. 10, biased because I have one on my desk too. 10, definitely cool. I'm kind of new and barely know the name, but I like the aesthetic. 8, no, he's replying with 5 for the innovation. Oh, right, okay, 5 for the innovation. Cool. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so I think you guys are all over. I need to get a bot that will do your scores, and you can just put the numbers in, and it will, average them. I need to do that at some point. I think you guys are broadly in line with me. I'm going to put an 8 down just because. Oh no, because a couple of 4s in there. I'm going to put a 7 down just because of the 4s and everything else in there, and I'll try and get a bot for next week ready. Okay, practicality. So this score for this one is now based on the work score. You know, it's quite a chunky board. We weighed it earlier on. It's pretty hefty. I think it was £5. Practicality is all about how easy is it to take this board around. Is this board something you could easily carry around? Is it something that you don't worry too much about damaging, or is it something you're going to be really precious of? So you have to think about this. A high score means it's really practical. A low score means you're going to want to baby it and look after it. It's not a board to take somewhere. You're not going to want to put it in your bag on the bus. For me, I'm probably going to go with whatever we gave the key call. So I gave the key call a 1 for this because it's just not a board that I would want to take around anywhere. Same as a key call, I wouldn't want to transport it. I wanted this to stay on my desk and be still and to not move. Basically, I want to use it as it is. So yeah, you just need a backpack and Bob's your uncle. Yeah, but it's a little bit more than that. you know, I'm not sure it's the most practical board. Once you've got it wherever you're taking it, perfect. But practicality of moving it around, the weight of it, carrying it around, putting it in a bag, all of that, you have to take that into consideration. And there's nothing wrong with having a low score. Lots of boards have low scores for this. It's fine. Okay, let's see what you guys came up with. Huey says 2. Depleted Vespine and Cohen both say 10. I don't... Okay, scores just all over the place. 2 from Krasios, 8 from Victor, 1. That's not a board to transport anywhere, says Chet, agree. 1, 5 from Vocon, middle of the road from him. 1 from Rope. Would not carry this around unless you have a TX bag. Yeah, I don't want to carry a TX bag everywhere. 4, I will not carry it. 3, 2, 2, 1. But I can kill someone with it, that's pretty practical, fair enough. Practicality involves transport. Yeah, it involves moving it around. How practical is it to move around, to take to work with you, you know, on a daily basis, assuming you can't leave them at work. 1, 3, 10, yes, 10. 4, 3. You guys are a little bit higher than me. I think the average is probably around a 3, so we'll go for that from you guys. Excellent. Okay, office acceptance. So this particular board in the office, is anyone going to notice it? As Apocalypse changing to a 4. Fair enough. I've already done the score, so it's done. So we're going to go with a 41 timescale now. Is this going to be accepted in the office? Not about volume, we'll talk about volume in a second, but just the fact that this is going to be sat on your desk, is anyone going to think it's anything out of the ordinary? For me, if this was on my desk, no one would bat an eyelid. This would just sit right there in the office, a black keyboard, no one would even know, unless they knew what they were looking for. So whilst it's cool if one of you guys came up to me in the office, anyone else, they're not going to know. I'm going to give this a solid 9 because it's pretty much perfect. A black TKL, that's almost perfection to take into the office. The only thing that could be better, a black full size. Simple as that. Okay, let's see what you guys have come up with because I'm just conscious of time. 10, another solid 10. £5, yeah. So it was 2.4 kilograms, about £5, yeah. 10, 9, 8, 9, 9, 10, 9, 10, 10, 9. Black keyboard, white on black caps. Yeah, you can't go wrong, right? In an office, it's going to look great. 10, nobody will bat an eyelid over it. 10, unless you put Vaporwave on it, yeah. Well, it's as it's built here. So 10, 9. Office camouflage, absolutely. I think you guys are probably a little bit higher than me, 9.5, because there's a lot of 10s in there. Okay, final score then, guys. We're going to be looking for a 42 timestamp on this one. As I'm typing, is it distracting? Can you still hear me? Can you still hear the music in the background? If I'm typing away, is that going to be too loud in an office environment? 5 means it's acceptable. 10 means it's super quiet, you can barely hear it. 1 means it's overly loud, it's a clicky switch, you know, box navies, and you wouldn't want to be hearing it in the office. So if you can carry on hearing me, I think it's fine. I'm going to give this a 6 because I can hear the music just fine while I'm typing, so I've got no problem with that at all. Okay, so I'm going to give it a 6. Let's see what you guys give it. 9, 5 unicorn. I don't get Bextative. Alright, you guys from the old one, sorry. Yeah, 42 times 7. 10 from Cohen, 8 from Depleted Vespine, 5, 6, 8, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 9, 5, 5, 7, 6, 4. I know in meetings someone question what the fuck it is. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, sometimes. 4.4, 7, work from Duckcom. I see you. I see you, baby. Dark Heaven Light 6, Unicorn Salami 6, that's his username, Unicorn Salami, I love it. 7 seems pretty normal, but a bit more dampened than other boards. Okay, so I think you guys probably do average around the same as me, so I'm going to give you guys a 6 as well. And again, we need a bot to do this. Okay, so that's the scores done. Let's see how that pans out. So it does mean that the grand total from myself comes out at a 92.5 and a 94.5. That's a 71% and a 73% respectively, and that rates the board as a solid B. So there you go, guys. It's a solid B. Let's have a look at it compared to the key cult. So the brass key cult kit number 2 came in at 70 and 72. So this is higher by 1 point on both sides. Still a B, but it is 1 point higher than the brass key cult. So there you go, guys. That's the board that it's competition against. That particular board there. So these scores here. So yeah, that's pretty good. B's as well. The only board higher than a B, we gave a couple of A's to the Prophet. We gave an A to the Equinox. We gave A's to the Doppelganger Prototype. So there's a couple of boards that get a little bit of a higher score. But there we go. But yeah, that's a very respectable score. Again, value does drop score down, so that's one of the things. Yeah, my hot take, beautiful but fucking expensive. Yeah, was that for the number 2? Yeah, for the brass key number 2. Okay. So the last thing I need to do is give this a hot take. My hot take is it's finally here. The whole thing is finally here. It's on my desk. It's finally here. If we vote 2s across the board, it will lower. It will lower the Mac market prices. Maybe. It's fun here and I love it, but it's chuffing expensive. There we go. That's what I'm going to go with. That's my hot take. It's a great board. It's lovely. There's some great things about it. That weight is stunning. Just the way it changes in the light. But it's fucking expensive. You know, it is $1,000 keyboard like this. As that sits right now, it probably cost me more than $1,000 to build, with the key sets and the switches and the stabilizers and everything else. The artisan, you know, it probably is $1,000 board. So there we go. Let's get this up again, guys. There you go. Next steps to do on this, I am going to do a little bit of infill. I'm going to infill the logo here and on the rear. Not today, but at some point in the future. Probably when I next build the other build for this board. So when I do the other PCB and plate, I'm probably going to change it then. So we'll see how that goes. A JTKL instead. Maybe. A lot of people have been asking for one. Maybe we'll do something at some point. Can't promise you. If I do, it won't have an F-row. It will have a pen rail, so you probably have an F-rowless TKL but with a pen rail. So think that with that. That's what you're probably going to get. If I ever do one. So glad I got into this group by every build I see just reinforces that further. Yeah, don't go by the J scores as being like perfect and all. You know, it's designed to try and not get anything to the top end. That's how it's designed, because things like price and cost come into it, and that drops the score. It's designed that no board gets super high scores. I know we had the bit of a meme with it with the ISO, the little macro pad that's here. It's not plugged in at the minute because I want to take it to work tomorrow. You know, it's one of those things. Cool. Okay, guys, if you've got any final questions, now is the time to get those into chat. But that's the build stream pretty much done. I'll have to put this board away pretty carefully. I'm looking for a paint that matches the white of the Oblivion Alphas for the infill of my V2. I would recommend buying a couple of different whites and then mixing them together to match. That would be how I would do it. We need a Rama version of the ISO Inception cap. I want to take my ISO macro pad to work. The words I thought I'd never hear. Yeah. No questions from Penguin Drop-ins. She just wants me to enjoy the rest of my busy day. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. That is for the build stream. Thank you very, very much for coming along. Could I make a 4-key version of the macro pad? Yeah, absolutely. We can do that if you want to pay for the prototyping and everything else. You know, absolutely happy to do that. Have I tried Paco switches before? Yes, not a fan. If I'm going to go tactiles, I don't want to do it in a cream housing, is my current take. Simple as that. I would rather do it in, you know, a decent housing for tactiles. Thanks for the stream, Top Keeb. Thank you very much, Bug Whisper. Thank you very much for the stream. Great stream, Jay. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you all being here, and I'm really, really happy with this board. It's going to be my daily driver for at least the next week, and then we'll see how it fares against that. So thank you very much, guys. I shall see you again soon on Thursday on normal Top Clack, and Brian will be back with, hopefully at some point soon, with his behind the keyboard. Don't know when that's happening, but I found it's going to happen soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. So thanks very much. Take care, and God bless.